Welcome to Weekly Digest, where we highlight the work of ministers of government as they push the administration's development agenda. Picking up from where we left off last week, Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa MP on Saturday last established the first Community Development Council CDC in Ithaca Region 5 to enhance agriculture production. Minister Mustafa assured residents that the government will work to enhance agriculture in their community.
This was a commitment that we have made. Rest assured that we will continue to work with you. This is only the beginning of good things to come for the community. As Minister of Agriculture, I want to tell you that our government will work with you, work with any group, all the groups of our country, so that we can develop the agriculture sector and develop all the sector of our country to make Guyana the number one in this part of the hemisphere.
Minister Mustafa also presented a quantity of cleaning supplies to the council to distribute to flood-affected residents. Meanwhile, the Agriculture Minister has commissioned 2 excavators and a tractor for use by the Mahaika Maikoni Abari Agricultural Development Authority, MMA ADA, and the Hope Estate, respectively. Minister Mustafa, during the simple handing over on Monday, said this is part of the government's efforts to develop the sector as it plays an important role in economic development.
Over the years, agriculture has been one of the main pillars to develop our country, and we will ensure that we make all the budgetary allocation in enhancing this important sector.
Minister Mustafa says the MMA ADA is one of the most important and largest agricultural schemes in Guyana. At the Hope Estate, Minister Mustafa said $38 million was allocated for capital works, and the tractor is an investment from that allocation. Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sukai MP says Amerindians living in the hinterland will benefit significantly from the Because We Care and the School Uniform and Supplies Cash Grant. Minister Sukai said the $19,000, which will be given to each public school child, is much needed due to the lack of wealth creating opportunities in most parts of the hinterland. Cash grant. Sukai said the $19,000, which will be given to each is much needed due creating opportunities in most parts of the hinterland. Cash grant. I said the $19,000, which will be given to each is much needed due creating public school students from nursery to Cape level are entitled to the $15,000 Because We Care cash grant, as well as the $4,000 Uniform and Supplies cash grant. Government has set aside $3.2 billion for the distribution of the grants, which began this week. Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Nigel Darmlal MP on Tuesday witnessed signing of a $29.2 million contract to enhance the infrastructure of the Parika Market, East Bank Essequibo. At the signing ceremony, Minister Darmlal highlighted some of the works the construction company will be undertaking.
We would be doing sanitation enhancement. We would be doing electrical works within the market to get the electricity flowing much better within the stalls. We're going to be doing some work on the roof, as well as the fencing, security fencing.
The enhancement of the business hub is expected to improve the services of the market, reduce overcrowding, and alleviate some hindrances faced by vendors and citizens. Work will begin soon. Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgell MP has commissioned the once dilapidated New Washer Pond Road in Linden, Region 10. The $52 million road is outfitted with concrete drains and the requisite safety markings. However, the minister said to avoid erosion, heavy-duty vehicles cannot be accommodated on the road presently.
That is at least 1 month to keep the big heavy trucks, 35, 40 tons and sometimes 50 tons, way above what the axles can carry off these roads until we could get what the ordinary layman might want to call curing period.
The rehabilitation of the road is just one of many projects to be executed by the government this year in the region. Minister within the Ministry of Local Government and Regional Development, Anand Prasad MP, presented the Mabaruma Town Council with $9 million in subvention for infrastructural development in Region 1. Minister Prasad listed a number of projects to be executed which will create employment for residents of Mabaruma.
Employment must come from Mabaruma. His Excellency the President has been telling contractors and his government that we need to facilitate monies that are being spent in various regions to facilitate workers from the said region or community.
The Town Council will receive the remaining 50% of the subvention later in the year. Minister of Health, Dr. Frank Anthony, MP, says vaccination data will soon become easily accessible and easier to follow. During Tuesday's COVID-19 update, the Health Minister said this is as a result of the Government of India agreeing to share its COWIN vaccination tracking software with interested countries, including Guyana.
We are very much interested in it because we believe that it would help us to aggregate the numbers of, from the different sites that we have. Currently, we have about 100 sites. So it would make aggregating these numbers quite easy, and we'll be able to track almost on a minute-by-minute basis how the vaccination is going, because that's how the software is built. Of course, they'll be customizing it to suit our purposes here in Guyana.
The Ministers of Agriculture and Tourism, Industry and Commerce have signed an Agri-Tourism Memorandum of Understanding to boost the industry. Agriculture Minister Zulfikar Mustafa MP and Minister of Tourism, Industry and Commerce Anuj Walran MP signed the document in the boardroom of the Agriculture Ministry on Wednesday. Minister Mustafa says the MOU is a commitment being fulfilled by government to invest in the people of Guyana, while Minister Walran says the MOU will foster sustainable development of the industry, adding that the value to the two sectors have gone unrecognized due to them being stereotyped. The Ministry of Agriculture has signed $115 million in contracts to boost the agriculture sector. Of that amount, $26 million will go towards the rehabilitation of the Rose Hall factory, which Minister of Agriculture Zulfikar Mustafa MP says will bring the estate one step closer to becoming operational.
This is a very important contract for us because, for a fact, when we were in the opposition, we said that we will reopen the closed sugar estate, and this is one of the closed sugar estate that is earmarked to be opened. Now, a number of activities are going on at Rose Hall Estate, and this is one of the most important parts of the factory, to get the factory in order.
The remainder of the monies will be used for development at the Guyana Rice Development Board, Guyana Marketing Corporation, and Hydromet Office. Meanwhile, the capacity of the National Drainage and Irrigation Authority has been boosted with the addition of 7 excavators worth $125 million.
Today, we are witnessing once again the takeoff of this sector. We are witnessing once again where this sector, or where Guyana is taking its rightful place once again on the world stage in leading the agriculture agenda in the region.
The PPPC government has delivered on its manifesto promise to reintroduce the Because We Care cash grant to children in public schools with the official launch of the program in Pomeroon Supernam Region 2 on Wednesday. Minister of Education Priya Manikchan MP said the initiative will benefit approximately 172,000 students across the country.
We are here to give every single nursery, primary, secondary aged child who's in a public school or applied to come to a public school this grant. Whether you're African Guyanese, Indo Guyanese, Amerindian, Chinese, Portuguese, mix up, you will leave here with that cash grant because we're not asking about your ethnicity. This morning, whether you are Muslim, Christian, Hindu, Rastafarian, nothing, Baha'i, you will leave here with a cash grant once your children are in the school. We're not asking about your religion.
The grant was first introduced in 2014, valued at $10,000. However, it was discontinued under the previous APNU-AFC administration. The government has increased the school uniform and supplies voucher from $2,000 to $4,000, which will be distributed in cash this year. Each child registered in public school system will receive $19,000. Meanwhile, at Akowini, Minister of Natural Resources Vikram Bharat MP defended the government initiative, which he said is aimed at benefiting the nation's children. His comment comes in the wake of criticisms of the cash grant initiative by members of the opposition.
How can a leader of this country, because they are leaders, they were elected by their supporters, how can you go on national television and say that giving these school children $15,000 is a waste of money? How can you possibly say that? That is inhumane. That is reckless.
Minister of Local Government and Regional Development Nigel Dharmlal MP said every promise made to Guyanese by the government will be fulfilled.
We are here honoring the commitment of His Excellency the President, Dr. Irfan Ali, to the students of the Lower Pomeroon and in this area. I think we have 10 schools, 384 students who will benefit, each will benefit $19,000.
Minister of Health Dr. Frank Anthony MP says Region 4's maternity waiting home will be built at the Enmore Polyclinic on the east coast of Demerara. The minister was speaking during Wednesday's COVID-19 update.
The facility would be equipped with things like ultrasound and so forth so that proper dating and diagnosis can be made. And of course, when you come, you stay in, you'll be able to deliver your babies there. And if it's necessary, the facility would also be equipped with minor surgical theaters for those types of operation that might be necessary.
Meanwhile, repairs will be done and a functioning X-ray machine installed within the next 2 weeks. Residents of 20 communities in the North Pacaraimans Region 8 will benefit from road improvement projects totaling $100 million. The contracts were signed on Wednesday between the villages and the Ministry of Public Works in the presence of Minister of Public Works Bishop Juan Edgil MP and Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sukai MP. Both ministers noted the importance of Amerindian communities to the government.
Amerindian development is always center on the agenda of our cabinet and the programs that we roll out. You will never be forgotten. You will never be abandoned. And the wrongs that you suffered in this 5 years will be corrected. We are righting the wrongs.
The PPP Civic has a track record of working with the people, bringing projects that are necessary and relevant to your life and to your improvement of your village and your village economy.
Some 400 Lindeners will now be able to build their own homes after receiving their house lots during the Central Housing and Planning Authority's Dream Realized Housing Drive in Linden Region 10. Some 144 land transport entitles were also distributed. Minister of Housing and Water Colin Crowell MP announced that about $2.1 billion will be invested in the Region 10 housing sector between 2021 to 2022 to commence the construction of 40 houses and advance infrastructure in new and existing areas.
You just heard the immediate commencement of the construction of 40 houses. and reminded that in 5 years we only had 20 that were constructed. Those investments into the region here or here in Amelia's ward, we're talking about under $300 million on the housing alone. For infrastructure work to develop the area for which we're making allocation now, we will be speaking towards an injection of close to $1.7 billion.
Minister within the Ministry of Housing and Water, Susan Rodriguez, MP, added that the 2-day allocation exercise is more than what was allocated in 5 years under the coalition.
From May to December 2015, one house lot was allocated in Region 10. In 2016, all of 2016, 36. In 2017, 201. In 2018, 121. In 2019, 0. And in 2020, in the 3 months, well, they were there until August 2nd, one house lot for 2020.
Minister of Amerindian Affairs Pauline Sukai MP has distributed relief hampers to miners in several parts of Region 8. While interacting with the miners, the minister noted that the hamper distribution is government's first intervention while it awaits the findings of the flood assessment.
The government is awaiting an assessment report which will provide recommendation to government on what other measures and actions will be taken to assist the mining sector. So until then, we will not be able right now to commit what might be the measures government may be taking, but very soon that will be unveiled.
Hampers were distributed at Blackwater, St. Elizabeth, Patara Landing, Rebel Hole, and Whitewater, among other areas. Prime Minister Brigadier Retired Mark Phillips has assured residents of Region 10 that they would not be left out of government's development plans. PM Phillips made the comments on Friday during a tour of the newly refurbished Tukan Call Centre building located in Karakara, Linden. The Prime Minister says it is government's intention to develop all of Guyana. He said the call centre, which is expected to employ over 200 residents from the region once fully operational, was refurbished at a cost of $142 million. The refurbishment is in keeping with government's plan of furthering social and economic development within the region, while also providing a conducive environment for investment. Minister of Labour Joseph Hamilton, MP, accompanied the Prime Minister on the tour. That's it for this edition of Weekly Digest. For these and other government-related information, do log on to our website, dpi.gov.gy, and our social media platforms as well. Goodbye.